Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanfiction. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is Titan, Season 2, Episode 1, Trigon. And you're probably wondering what the hell this is, because normally I have, little earpieces and earbuds in. I couldn't stand the earbuds anymore, quite honestly, and so moved on over back up to the big over-the-ear headphones, just because they're a lot more comfortable and they're not popping out as much as the other ones were. I hate the in-ear earbuds. So a little bit of a different look, but still the same channel. There we go. A little bit of business out of the way first. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, you can hit the dislike button. I just ask you to go down below in the comment section. Tell me what it is that you don't like. Give me some constructive criticism. Also, if you want to see when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell. If you've already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go into the bell and get as many or as little notifications as you want to. You can go to the settings there. If you want to see when I'm going to be on without going into the bell there, you can go to my page, my webpage, suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that's up there. It's also mirrored on my Facebook page as well. And I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. So there we go. Yeah, the spaceman kind of worked out a little bit there. I also found a Robin as well. I was trying to figure out where Robin, if I had a Robin at all. And I do have a Robin. So, Titans, Season 2. Dick jokes abound. Let me just start by grabbing the paddle here, and as I drop a whole bunch of crap all of a sudden too, because the paddle is buried. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of this episode. If you have not watched the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. So, I really was spoiled by Doom Patrol and also Swamp Thing, quite honestly. After watching this, I was going, okay, so Doom Patrol, usually the first season, they give a little bit of extra money. Not a lot of extra money, but a little bit of extra money. Didn't show in the first season of Titans. Didn't show in the second season either, but it showed in Doom Patrol. I mean, I don't know what happened with the second season of Titans, if they got less money than they got for the first season, but good God, the CGI is horrible. And I'll get into that in a second. Let me do a little bit of the recap and then I'll review it because, yeah. And like I said, the dick jokes have abounded quite a bit. Again, Akiva Goldsman is one of the writers of this episode, and he really, really sucks as a writer. He really does. He needs to stop writing. He can do executive producing. I don't care. He just needs to stop writing completely, because it's you can tell when his dialogue comes up, it's clunky. And yeah. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that the dick jokes aren't there on purpose. They're there by accident, just because of his writing. So let's start. So Rachel is, of course, we leave off exactly where we left off with season 1. We start off with season 2, the exact same spot. And Dick has turned dark, and Rachel is asking her father to let Dick go. And she tries using her magic on Trigon, and Trigon's like, nope, taking your magic away. You don't need that for right now. And he tells her that everyone she loves will leave her or betray her, and nothing lasts. And he wants her, he wants her to let her heart break, is what he says. And then she can join him. Garth shows up and goes, we need to get the fuck out of here now. And he grabs her and they run. So he tells Rachel's mom that, of course, her heart needs to break so that I can take over this world finally. Her heart needs to break for that. And then Trigon sends Dark Dick running after them. So Jason, in the meantime, is riding a motorcycle inside Wayne Manor with a helmet on, because, that's the responsible thing to do. So, wear a helmet while you're riding a motorcycle through a mansion. Yeah. And of course, he bails, he crashes, and Hank and Dawn find him and say that Rachel sent them to find him. And then they said, is it worth my time? I'll get to that, Pen. So Rachel, Hank and Dawn find him and say that Rachel sent them to find him, and Hank's like, well, where's your father at? Does he know you're here, kind of thing? And we're looking for Batman. And Jason's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, dude, we know about the cave underneath, or Hawk and Dove. We know you're Robin. And he even does the little bat eyes and everything. He goes, do I need to draw you any more of a picture at this point? And Jason finds like, okay, and they say, well, what do you need? Bruce is halfway around the world with the Justice League, and they tell him, Dick needs help. And as Jason puts it, if Dick needs help, I'm your guy. That's a quote from him, by the way. So, because, of course, a Robin helping out another Robin is just one of those things that he wants to rub it in, of course. He wants to rub it in Dick's face. And they go, well, we could just track him. And they're like, nope, Dick already took the tracker out of him. And he goes, well, what about the second tracker? Second tracker? They're like, yeah. He goes, it's in a place that you'll never find. And Hank's like, ew, I don't want to know. And he goes, well, if you let me come with you, I can use the Bat computer and we can find him. And he's like, yeah, all right, we'll let him go. And that's when, Dawn tells Hank that, because he really doesn't like Jason. He goes, I want to kill that little twerp, the little asshole. And Dawn's like, you can kill him after we, find Dick. So he's got a Dick tracer that he's, that Dick still has inside of him. So, yes, like I said, there's going to be a lot of Dick jokes. So hang around for the Dick jokes if you're into the Dick jokes. I'm going to see how many times I can say Dick during this whole this whole episode. Donna and Corey, in the meantime, are standing outside the force field, and Corey is just blasting it with fire out of her hands, and she's using up all her energy because remember, they've kneecapped her character now by making her solar powered. She recharges with the sun, her powers. So they're arguing, they're bickering, and who shows up but Dawn, Hank, and Jason. And Jason likes the girl fight going on. And they're like, who in the hell is this? And why is it in Dick's costume, as Donna puts it? And they're like, okay, this is the new Robin. And Donna introduces Corey to everyone else as she's the new alien that they know. No, her powers are solar, Mr. Roboto, in this series. They're solar. They've already established that in season 1. They're not semi-solar, they're solar. Which is really stupid. So anyway, we'll get back to that in a little bit. So Donna and Corey, fill them in that Trigon can only inhabit this world if he fully breaks Rachel's heart. And then he'll take over that world, our world, and all the other worlds in the solar system, or all the other worlds in the galaxy, in this universe. So Garth and Rachel, in the meantime, are on the run, and the rooms are getting, you see the hallway kind of elongated out, and the rooms are changing, all that kind of stuff. And they go and hide in a room, and some of the pictures have bleeding eyes out of the pictures and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just kind of a weird thing. And of course, Rachel says that Trigon's trying to frighten them, and Garth says that it's working, of course. And Dick is following them, and Dick comes knocking at the door and says, as Rachel says, we've got to get Dick back to normal. And Dick wants to be let in, and Dick wants Rachel to talk to him. So, and Rachel wants to talk to Dick and talk him out of it. But they find another door, and it's a small little door they're going to go through and to get out of that room. And they see outside the window that everyone else is waiting outside the force field. They're trying to get in, and they're like, okay, we need to get to them before that, before Trigon does at this point. So they end up going out, the door, and Dick smashes his way in, as Dick normally does. And he gets inside the room and follows them. So Trigon invites the Titans into the force field, and they enter the bright light and come in, and they all get separated at this point, and they all go into their own dreams. And so the first one we see is Corey running into Rachel and Garth, and Rachel tells her that Trigon changed Dick. And don't you hate when that happens, when when Dick gets changed? And the only way to stop him is for Corey to kill her. And so Corey's like, there's got to be some other way. There's got to be some other way. And no, there isn't. So she ends up choking. She starts choking Rachel and picking her up. And Rachel, of course, wanted this to be fast. And it doesn't look like it's going to be fast. And Garth's like, what the hell are you doing? He tries to stop her. And Corey smashes him against the wall and then incinerates Rachel, turns her to ash. And that's when Corey turns dark. The next one up is Donna, and Donna ends up seeing herself as a child with her dad on the day that he dies in a fire in their apartment building. So she runs up there to try and stop it, but it's too late. Dad's dead. He's incinerated behind the couch, and she tries to save young, her. And as she goes to reach for herself, she disappears. And then she sees the arsonist out in the hallway. She catches him, and she's like, "What the hell? Why did you do this?" And he says, "Well, I've got a sickness inside of me. I need to watch things burn." And he says, "Take me and arrest me." And she grabs him and she's like, "No." And she throws him through the window to his death. She turns dark then at this point. So then it's Jason's turn. He's in the Batcave and sees a dead Bruce. And Dick is standing there, of course, and saying that he saw Bruce's future and that, he gets broken. He breaks, kills the Joker, and takes Gotham with him. And so that's why he killed Bruce. And he goes, "And Bruce trained you a little too well, so you're going to break too. I have to kill you as well." And they start fighting, and Jason tries to obviously stop this at this point, and he ends up, of course, losing pretty badly. He gets his arm broken. He's trying to cut it, all that kind of stuff, and it's just not working, pretty much. Well, Bruce also happens to have the gun that killed his parents sitting down there in the Batcave. And it's on display, and it smashes. It comes down. Jason picks it up, and Dick looks at him and says, "Do you think that Bruce actually leaves that thing loaded, the gun that killed his parents?" And he goes, "No, he doesn't, but I do." And he shoots Dick in the head. So, yeah. And then he turns dark as well. The one that was actually pretty fucked up was Hank and Dawn. They're in their place with Hank telling her that he shouldn't have involved her with Coach. That was his problem. So we go back to season 1 about the whole Coach problem that happened. And we get a knock at the door, and it's Trigon as a drug dealer who delivers him some heroin. And Hank cooks up the heroin, prepares a little shot for Dawn, and tells her that it'll take the pain away. And she injects herself, causing her to go dark. And of course, because Hank was the one that introduced her to it, that turns him dark. So Garth and Rachel finally get out of the crawl space behind the walls there, and they turn on. They run into the Turn Titans, the Dark Titans, I guess. And Trigon and her mother are standing there, and Dick shows up, and basically they said that this is who they truly are. They've all gone, to their true sides, and Trigon has them basically beat the shit out of Garth for the final betrayal. And I mean, they're beating the crap out of him. Rachel tries to appeal to Dick to tell him, what, snap out of it, remember what happened. She tries to tell him, tries to remind him that she dreamt of Dick, and that was the reason why she came to find him in the first place, and that she needs Dick's help. And Dick walks over to Garth, who's lying on the floor in his own blood, and he ends up having, looks like he's going to help him there for a second. Then he picks him up by the throat and throws Garth against the wall, knocking him out finally. And Rachel screams and then pleads with Trigon to heal Garth again. And he's like, "Nope, not going to do it this time." And we know her heart has broken at this point. And Trigon's like, "Yep, your heart's broken." And he reaches into her chest, pulls out her beating heart. She goes down and dies. And her heart turns into a crystal. And as it's crystallizing, Trigon's human form disappears, and he turns into a really bad CGI demon. And then he puts the crystal into her head, reawakening her, using that crystal to bring her back and bring her over to the dark side. And her eyes turn dark. So, yeah. So Trigon, now in his demon form, goes outside and he tells, Rachel, they're family now, and the world will belong to them. And he goes, "But we need to do a little housekeeping first." And he turns towards Rachel's mom, And she's like, well, are we going to get started? And he goes, no, I got to do something else first. And she's like, what? I don't understand. He goes, yeah, that's the problem. You never really did understand. And he just kind of grabs her and snaps her neck. Okay. Then he starts walking out, into the field, and we start seeing plants die and birds falling from the sky, dying, all this kind of stuff. Rachel's still inside the house, turned to the dark side. We see Garth as a snake slither up behind her, turns into his human form, and grabs her hand and tells her, to wake up, basically, to remember, to come back to him. And she remembers everything, all the good stuff with her and Garth, and she snaps out of it. And he goes, okay, we need to deal with your father. And she's like, no, wait, she goes, I think the dream that I had about Dick is the key to saving him, and the key to defeating Trigon as well. And so she goes, maybe I can reach him. And so she takes Dick's hand, tells him, to remember. Well, at first he tries strangling her. And she, of course, grabs him and turns him to his time in the circus. And she ends up, it's kind of weird. So she is on the trapeze, saying that if she dies in this dream, she dies in real life, and that she knows he's going to save her. And so she swings out on the trapeze and goes to reach for him when she lets go, and he just watches her fall. And as she's falling, we end up, all of a sudden he ends up catching her. I thought she had fallen quite a bit to the point where she almost hit the floor. But hey, I don't know. Maybe, it's all a dream state at this point. And that's when Dick, releases the darkness, and the darkness goes away from him at this point. So she welcomes Dick back, and when Garth asks what happens, she tells Dick to fill him in, and she goes out to go confront her father, and she tells Dad that she has actually control of the Dark Titans now at this point. She tells him to stay, and she walks out there, and she goes up to her father and says, you know what, thank you for showing me who my true family is. And he goes, this is no time to be sentimental and all that. And then she tells him genetics is destiny, and uses her magic to open a portal. And we get this blast of energy that throws him back through the portal and basically takes the darkness out of the Titans at the same time. So that kind of wakes them up. So we end up having the ATF on the scene there. And the news team, of course, shows up, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And the ATF says, well, we don't know what happened, but whatever it was stopped by a new team of masked heroes. And that's when Jason decides to jump in front of the camera, dressed as Robin, saying, Titans are back, bitches. And that's when Hank grabs him and pulls him aside and goes, you really are an asshole, aren't you? And Jason's like, yeah, but you like me. He goes, no, you're never going to get me to admit that. And you can tell that Hank actually does like him at this point. So the Titans are going to part ways. Dick, Jason, Garth, and Rachel are going one way. Corey's going to find her own path, and Donna's going to go back to her life, and Hank and Don are going back to their life as well. And as Jason puts it, he loves beating Dick's ass. Yeah. And Dick ends up taking the kids on a road trip. So Dick does invite Corey to come with him, and she declines this time around, maybe later, kind of thing. So out in the woods, we see this log cabin that's out there, and we see Slade Wilson. And we know it's Slade because he's got one eye, and he's got his white hair and his beard and all that stuff. And there's no running water. There's no electricity, anything like that. He's kind of washing up, but we see he's got some super strength as well, because he grabs onto the metal table and we can hear it creaking a bit. He goes into town at the general store to go get some stuff, and the clerk behind the counter says, hey, I got that foreign stuff that you asked for. I got it back here. Let me go get it. And the TV's playing in the background. And what does Slade see? He sees Robin jump in front of the camera saying, Titans are back, bitches. And he ghosts the clerk. And the clerk, of course, comes back saying, you know what? I got this, Chinese chrysanthemum tea that for you. He goes, what's the matter? You hate America? Which was kind of a weird line. I mean, it was just kind of a weird throwaway line that was in there. And I was like, all right. And yeah. So So we see a cleaned up Slade entering another house, a nicer house with some guy, and the guy's saying, "Hey, there's been a lot of inquiries about people wanting your services again, all that stuff." He goes, "Yeah, I bet." He goes, "Did you get all the letters I sent you?" He goes, "Yeah, I did." And he goes, "Well, I guess you lost the address on writing me back then." He goes, "Yeah, maybe something like that." And they go downstairs to where there's a vault, and he enters the code to get in there, and we see all his gear that's in there, and we see his suit. And the guy says, I stopped bringing the suit to the cleaners because the dry cleaners were asking too many questions about the blood stains. So I was doing I was trying to get them out as best as possible myself. And I'm like, wait, so the guys in the dry cleaners are actually more questioning the blood stains than an actual costume that you're bringing in. All right, sure, I can see that. Especially if you keep bringing the same suit back over and over again with blood stains on them. But hey, again, it's just bad writing. That's all I'm going to say. But Dick goes to visit Bruce Wayne at Wayne Manor. And this is where I had the biggest issue on this one was this is not Bruce Wayne. I'm sorry. I like the actor. I like Ian and other things. He is not Bruce Wayne. He is not Batman. He does not play it well. It just came off really, really bad. I mean, there was no gravitas, I guess you could say, of the character. There was no presence of that character there. So, yeah, and basically all Dick came back for was to tell Bruce why he left, which he doesn't even tell Dick. Doesn't tell Bruce why he left in the first place. He just basically says that you know what, he essentially kind of accuses him. He says, "Hey, you weaponized my childhood." His words, not mine. And I was going down a dark path, and I finally released the darkness. Is what he says. And Bruce is like, "All right, dude." Bruce is like, well, if you need anything, just let me know. And he goes, "Well, I've been thinking about San Francisco." And that's when Bruce says, "Oh, you're thinking about, reopening the Titans again," kind of thing. And he goes, "Okay, but on one condition." And we see them driving across the Golden Gate Bridge, and Jason's in the car. That's the condition, is that Jason goes with them and joins the Titans at this point as the new Robin. And Dick takes the kids over to San Francisco, and they find a new home, which they're going to explore. And we see that the new home has, it's huge. It's got a large living room, kitchen. It's got rooms. It's got costume areas. It's got a training area, all that kind of stuff. And this is going to be their new home. And that's where we leave off. So, like I said, was not a big fan of this Bruce Wayne. And Dark Ops, there is, so old Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond, Kevin Conroy, the way he does it, I can guarantee you when you see him, because Kevin Conroy is going to be playing the live action version of old Bruce in the CW crossover series, it's going to be a lot better than whatever this version is. And I'm not sold on it at all. I was kind of against it to begin with. I was going to give him a chance. I did give him a chance, and he completely blew it. There's not going to be any fight scenes, Dark Ops. That's what they said. He's basically just going to be there to bring out some, old man advice, and that's about it. Sorry, Hollywood probably can't make money on old Bruce. Yeah, they could. I've already said this before. If you want to do Batman Beyond right, you bring in Clint Eastwood as Bruce Wayne, and you bring in his son, Scott Eastwood, as Terry McGinnis. There you go. Your casting's already solved for you right there. It's not that hard. Yeah. How, Dark Ops? Because we just heard from Jason that he was on the other side of the world with the Justice League. That Batman was on the other side of the world with Justice League. He's not a retired Bruce Wayne. He's a totally active Bruce Wayne. So yeah, they did kind of set up Ian for failure. They really did. And again, I blame the writing because Akiva Goldsman is a horrible writer. He really is a horrible writer. Jeff Johns isn't that much better, quite honestly. Smallville was all right, but yeah, he's not the greatest writer. But and also the other thing that kind of bothered me about this episode is they wrapped up the whole Trigon thing a bit fast. They kind of built, that was what the whole season 1 was. All the build up to was Trigon taking over, what was going to happen, Trigon's evil, all this stuff, and then you finish it. And I actually looked at it in 30 minutes, 32 minutes, excuse me, 32 minutes, and it was done. And they wrapped it up. And I'm like, wait a minute. So we had all this buildup of season 1 about Trigon coming to take over everything, and it ends like that. Okay. I am looking forward to Isai Morales as Slade. I mean, quite honestly, Isai Morales as Slade, he didn't even say like what he said, like 5 lines, something like that. That was more gravitas. That was actually, he made me believe him as Deathstroke more than Ian did as Bruce Wayne. Now, if you want to see acting differences in that, that is where you go. And yeah, this Slade is awesome. I mean, and quite frankly, the other thing that kind of ruins the name Slade for me is Teen Titans Go to the Movies. If you ever got a chance to see it, the whole thing with them saying, villain names you to roll off the tongue, Slade, that kind of thing. And that was what was going through my head when I saw it, which was kind of funny. But at the same time, I watched the episode twice, by the way, just so you guys know. Yeah. Yeah, Joker, I agree with you. Isai Morales is one of my favorite actors too. Yeah, you're not going to see Miss Martian or Kid Flash this season. Dark Ops, excuse me. Yeah, you're not going to see them. They're already having Superboy in here. Wonder Girl, of course. Aqualad's going to be in there as well, and I think that is it. Well, we're also going to have Dr. Light at some point. I'm wondering what they're going to do with the Dr. Light thing, if they're going to set up something or not. So, yeah. Oh, so I almost forgot to mention. Actually, I did forget to mention that. But on the very last episode of Titans, when I reviewed that is going to be the prize, is the Titans poster from season 1. That's right. So that's going to be on the very last episode that I do, or that I cover. I'll be giving that away. That's from Comic-Con. Like many of the other things I've been giving away. I loved Manu Bennett as Slade. Yeah, he was actually a really good Slade and was pretty damn awesome. Sorry, I'm having a little issue there with the poster. It was just getting in my way. So, yeah, I want this to be a bit better. Honestly, I want this to be as good as Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing, quite honestly, because those two, I mean, I want it to be as good as Young Justice Outsiders as well. That 3rd season of Young Justice Outsiders is awesome too. So if they could ramp this up to that level, at least. And that was the other thing too, is the CGI. The CGI, whoever they're getting to do the CGI for Titans sucks. They need to get whoever did the CGI for Doom Patrol in on this, because Admiral Whiskers and Ezekiel, whoever did the CGI for that, was much, much better than whoever did the Trigon CGI on this. The Trigon CGI was horrible. Wow. I mean, it looked like it was just kind of pasted in there. Yeah, I agree with you, Joker. I love Isai Morales. He's, like I said, one of my favorite actors. And when I heard that he was Slade, I was like, holy shit. Yeah, I could see him as Slade. That actually works. I don't think you're going to see Tara until season 3, Dark Ops, on that. If there's a season 3. Given all the problems right now that's going on with AT&T and Warner Brothers and all that stuff, where we don't know what's going to happen with DC Universe, if it's going to survive to year 2 or not. So yeah. So all in all, as an episode, I give it a 5.5. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't great. I don't need to see the Terra Judas thing again. Quite honestly, Joe Greer, I really don't. It's not something they really need to do. If there was a season 3, who do I want to play Kid Flash? Honestly, I don't know. Dark Ops, and I don't know if I don't even know if they're going to bring in a Kid Flash, because they are, again, that's going to be CGI heavy, and if they're going to be cutting the budget as much as they have, that's going to be kind of difficult to do with a lot of CGI that they already have. I mean, they kind of finally got a handle on Corey's, the CGI and Corey's powers, at least. But anything else, it depends on who you're calling original Titans. Are you talking? Some people go just to the '80s to Marv Wolfman's Teen Titans, because that is the definitive, I guess you could say. But there was an original Teen Titans back in the '60s, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there's all kinds of versions of Aqualad. I mean, there's. I was kind of hoping they were going to do the, the one from Young Justice, because I kind of find that interesting that Black Manta, that's his son, kind of thing. That was actually kind of a cool version, but they're going with the regular version of Aqualad. Yeah. So, like I said, not the greatest episode, but better than some of the stuff that's been out there lately. Talking about Carnival Row. Yeah. And I'm going back up here a little bit because my voice sounds so rich now with these headphones on, the new headphones. Penn Farm Girl said, it isn't great, but we've seen much worse. So the question is, Dennis, is it worth my time? Yes, that's right. Ravager is in this as well. That's right, Tarkops. Ravager is in this. Is it worth your time? It depends. If you are a fan of the DC universe, you might be a little bit pissed off about this. If you can watch it objectively, I think it's worth your time. If you can't, I'm right in the middle of, it doesn't piss me off and it doesn't excite me enough at the moment. Really is where it's at. It's kind of there. So, yeah. Thanks, Dark Ops. I understand. Yeah, there's a lot of other things you could be watching out there. So, all my opinion, by the way, about if it's worth my time. So, with that said, I'm going to do a little bit of business again. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Also, if you want to see when I'm about be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. Also, if you're still on the fence about joining up, you're going to see a video at the very end here that's going to pop up. It's going to take YouTube is going to take the algorithm of all the stuff you've been watching and match it to a video in my video library and pop it up there. Also, in this area up here, you're going to see, actually, I'm not going to put the contest results one up there. I'm probably going to put up Preacher again up in this area. So you can also find me on my Facebook page, suspendedfanimation.com. You can find the schedule up there. You can also find that on Facebook. I have a Facebook page as well where I put up all the news of the week. And I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. So tomorrow is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off. That's where I take the genre news of the week, talk about that and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. And Sunday, of course, is going to be Preacher. Monday I'm going to be off. Tuesday is going to be the Dark Crystal episode of Is It Worth My Time? Wednesday I'm going to be off, and then Thursday is going to be the Young Justice Outsiders. Is It Worth My Time as well? And yes, Dark Ops, I'm going to keep reviewing Titans. So it's not to the point where, I didn't hate it and I didn't like it. So it wasn't one of those things where I had a whole bunch of negative stuff to say about it. And Deathstroke is the thing that's going to be the thing that brings me back. Yes, and Stargirl is going to have her own TV series. That's right. She is going to be out on, I'm thinking it's supposed to be after Titans is done, if I'm not mistaken. Because I know Harley Quinn starts middle of October, the animated series, and then Stargirl, actually maybe Stargirl might not be until January. Yeah. I have no idea, Dark Ops. Superboy and Crypto, yes, will be in this, in Titans. If you go back to the very last episode of season 1 of Titans and go to the very end of the credits, you have a Superboy and Crypto cameo there. Yeah. I have to do a little bit more research on that one and see what's going to be in Stargirl, because Stargirl, they keep adding stuff to it. I don't think they've actually firmed up everything, and I don't even know if they've started filming that, to tell you the truth. Actually, no, I take that back. They have started filming, but I think they keep adding stuff to it. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't go the way of Swamp Thing, because Swamp Thing was really good. I mean, it was actually a fairly decent series, and it got canceled after the first episode, which was just kind of one of those things like, why? Why did that happen? So now they're going to have to find something else to pop in there. Who knows what they're going to do? Yeah, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Stargirl as well. There wasn't a hell of a lot of news, Joe Greer. There's not a lot of news. I've got to go through today's news, by the way. I just never put anything up, and see what else is there for tomorrow. Yes, I know Krypton got canceled. Yeah. Actually, I wasn't too broken up about that, to tell you the truth. But yeah, Swamp Thing being canceled, I agree with you, Penn. That was just odd. And no one fesses up as to why. Everyone keeps pointing fingers at everyone else on that. And I'm pretty sure it was AT&T that killed it after they took over Warner Brothers. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight in the chat. Also, thank you if you made it this far in the video. Sorry, I'm chewing on a little bit of mint there that got sucked through my straw. And I will see you tomorrow for Saturday morning blast off at 10:30 a.m. or thereabouts. Usually I'm within 15 minutes of that. So until then, thank you again. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may run into somebody who says they're Bruce Wayne, but really isn't. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.